This is Kim Kaisa, transformative coach and consultant, bringing you the one thing in each video, bringing you something actionable, digestible, and relevant to you getting the business results that you want. In the past few videos, I've been talking about the Vital 33 assessment, which is an assessment that I use to basically x-ray the health of an organization or a team. And I love this tool, and I've been talking about the last few weeks the level of trust within an organization and how that gets measured, and asked you guys to notice what you notice about that. And then we talked about clarity in the last video, and how clear is your organization, how clear is the communication, how clear are the objectives, and how closely that's tied to vision. Today, I'm going to talk about processes and procedures, and I want to talk about this in terms of how are your processes and procedures helping you to get the results that you want? Are they actually helping you to get the results that you want? Or what I see in many cases, that certain processes and procedures actually hinder people's results. And let me tell you a little bit about that. So first of all, in my mind, processes and procedures should do a couple of things. So a lot of the times we have them in place to fulfill a legal or ethical obligation. You know, certain processes, certain testing methods, certain drawing methodologies, engineering methodologies, those sorts of things. Those really require processes and procedures to be quite precise, and those totally make sense. Standards are also really great to have as well. Those really make sense, so that if it's important in your particular business that people do certain things the same way every time, I think having processes and procedures make complete sense. But what I, by and large, see in many, many companies is processes and procedures that get implemented as a result of people making mistakes, and that there's this low tolerance for mistakes. And so therefore there's like a knee-jerk reaction to putting processes and procedures in place. Like, this would be an example, is that I used to work in a company where we had a warehouse, and we delivered products to clients, and then sometimes they were returned. Well, one time, and this type of thing happened maybe more than we really wanted it to where it started really affecting our results in a negative way. Something got returned, and it didn't, it got sort of put in a rack and got lost and that sort of thing. And it was really just someone was having a bad day. It was a human error, which happens like that. We're dealing with humans, right? So we're going to have some human errors. But there was a process and procedure put in place that required then, with every return of this particular item, a long form to be filled out, 3 people getting involved in that instead of just one. And it was a process that ended up really bogging down the system. And in this effort to not make one human mistake out of like hundreds of times that went well, we bogged 3 people down with paperwork. That's how it was. And so one of my jobs back then was to go back through some of these processes and procedures and clear them out and go like, okay, if these processes don't help us reach our objectives and results in a more positive, accurate, quick way, then they've got to be relooked at. Some of them need to be eliminated, and we did that. So that's what I want you guys to think about in your business is, do you have things in place that are just like mechanisms because you're scared to make a mistake? I mean, I'm just going to be blunt about it. Are you afraid what might happen if we don't do a particular thing? Again, a lot of times we get really creative in our minds about what could happen, and we don't really deal most of the time with what is happening. And so again, processes and procedures are a place that, our employees can get really bogged down. It can look like they're not being productive, but actually they're just so in this system that sometimes we create a monster, and that's why they're not actually getting the results. So that's what I would love for you guys to look at. The next video of this final aspect of the Vital 33 that we measure is it's around execution of a company or team's objectives and how well you are doing with that. And again, the Vital 33 measures that. If you want to have a conversation with me, again, we can knock this out in 15, maybe 30 minutes max about the Vital 33. It's in my mind a very inexpensive way to assess the health of an organization when it comes to people issues and process issues. So I would love to do that. There's a link below if you'd like to schedule a consultation with me. Thanks so much. And next week I will be back with talking about execution of objectives. Thanks for joining me, Kim Kaisa, transformative coach and consultant.